What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ant, GuyMade32 on Instagram, and today we got the review for Black Adam. Let's go. I just got done watching Black Adam, y'all, and I just had so much fun, man. This is gonna be like a semi-spoilery review, so if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out, man. It's an amazing film. It has its flaws, but come back to me after you get done watching it, because there's no way I could really talk about this movie without giving a lot of things away. Also, the people over at Real Rejects just dropped ranking DCEU movies. I think I'm gonna do a reaction to that. Give this video a like if you want to see that one. If you like what you see here, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps us way more than you know, and it helps us beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to be notified when we upload new videos, go ahead and click that little bell icon. You've been warned, and now we're going right into it. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, man, we're here talking about the story of Teth Adam, man. Teth Adam lived 5,000 years ago. He lived under subjugation of a king that was trying to get a MacGuffin, so he was using his subject as slaves to get Eternium. These are chips of the Rock of Eternity that landed on Earth, and they're like very powerful magic infused stones. So by circumstance, the son really believed in justice and protecting the people and goodness. He becomes a champion. By his parents get messed up by the evil people at the time. He bestows his dad with his power just so his dad could live. And then at that very moment, his sons get killed. So just from that point alone, it hooked me, because you understand the rage that he has. You understand where all of that anger comes from. You understand why he is the way how he is and why he subjects people to the brand of justice that he does. He's a very complex character, but this is not a very complex movie. I'm just being honest. They paint it with very broad strokes, but if you understand in the circumstances that he's in and the man that he is, he's portraying. And again, I'm talking about Black Adam. I'm not talking about Dwayne Johnson. And that's part of it too. I really liked it because Dwayne Johnson, I think, separated himself almost towards the end of the movie. There's a couple Dwayne Johnson isms that comes along in the latter half of the movie to like lighten it up a bit. But other than that, he like very much stays in character, very stoic, very like gruff and tumble, straight to the point. And I really do like it. I did enjoy this new rendition of Dwayne Johnson, I want to say, and him like actually acting a little bit. I think the general tone of the movie is great. Not to say that it doesn't mess up tonally from time to time, but I think the general tone of it is pretty good, especially the way how it starts out. Very dark, very true. Some people want to say it's a little bit of the Snyder effect in it, a little bit of 300 in there, and you could call it what you want. I like Snyder. I like that brand of visuals, and like if that's what he was hearkening back to here, it worked for me because I was drawn in without even thinking about that at the time. I definitely think that the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie is the strongest for me per se, because that's when the tone was very serious, and he was on that rampage because he was still so angry before the lead actress's son gets injected into it. He starts kind of lightening up Black Adam. Speaking about the kid, man, I hear a lot of complaints about the kid, and to be honest, I understand the complaints. I think that kid is probably on the spectrum. You know, he wasn't getting none of the hints that Buddy was dropping. He was highly fixated on superheroes and being a hero. So you could say he was just exuberant. I'm gonna say he was on the spectrum, and that explains a lot to me from his behavior. You feel what I'm saying? Because he was doing a lot of erratic stuff in there to the point where I was getting angry at him at a lot of times, because I was like, yo, you're putting your life and your mother's life at risk on the hope that this man is a hero. And like from everything that he's done so far, he's not a hero. And I do just playing on that a little bit, I think the back and forth between them talking about like who's gonna teach your son violence, I think that was very funny to me. I had like a couple laugh out loud moments in that little exchange. The themes of the movie is just that, man. The themes of the movie is about revenge. It's about how you deal with your anger, and it's very shallow per se, because Black Adam is not one to really deal with his problems. He deals with his problems through his fists and through like working it out through anger. So maybe it wasn't going to sink in like that, but I think the general theme is how do you deal with with those emotions? How do you manage your loss? What is justice in any situation, and what is the line to any particular person? and how do you convey that to other people? You know, because everybody's the hero in their own story at the end of the day, and that's how I always look at these characters, these kind of gray characters, or the straight up bad guys. Like, everybody's a hero in their own story. Everybody is doing it for a just reason in their own head. So I like this take on Black Adam and how he's portraying that in the film. I'm talking about it like it's very in depth. I'm talking about it like it's Mozart, but it's really not, man. This is a rock band. This is a hair band that probably is gonna fizzle out in like 3 years. But right now they're the hottest shit in the world, and Black Adam is that, man. It's just like a energy injection from start to finish. There's a couple lows in there. It's not big lows to me, but I definitely like it, man. The look of this movie is beautiful. It reminds you of that Zack Snyder. It reminds you of Man of Steel. It reminds you of the best parts of Batman versus Superman, and it reminds you of the amazing parts of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It gives you all of that. It gives you the setting of the DCEU, how I really loved it, and it makes Kahndaq its own place in that setting. It gives you that distance, especially when they're talking about, yo, you've never showed up here before. And I can understand how a lot of local heroes is not going across the waters. While Hawkman and sometimes Dr. Fate, no, not even Dr. Fate, because Dr. Fate in the comics, he don't really want to do shit unless, like, you know what I mean? Because Nabu is a dick. But that's besides the point. I'm getting into like comic book lore. But like, Hawkman is not really going to be going out there like that serving justice to everybody. You really need like the Justice League for that. And they're not going to be doing that because of everything that happened previously in this universe. So I'm really liking that. I'm really liking the set dressings on it and how they're setting it up. And I do think this is, in my headcanon, a continuation of the adjustment of that DCEU and the Snyderverse. One of the best twists in this movie is how they wrap up his origin towards the end of the movie. And I know I'm skipping a lot through it, but as I said, I'm not going beat by beat. How they wrap up his origin in the end, if you know what was going on beforehand, if you were aware of the leaks, you probably wouldn't be as surprised as some of the other people, because the people who are just familiar with Shazam would have thought when the kid disappeared and he got bestowed powers, and the next scene you see in the movie was Black Adam walking in the halls to go and destroy the temple, you would think that the kid became Black Adam as the champion. But what we come to find out is the kid became his own champion. The kid went around and from that point where he almost died, went around and helped a lot of people. The people in charge got very upset at that, murdered his mom, left his dad for dead. He gave his dad the powers just to save his life. But all of that was a trap because the archers were there waiting for the kid to come. So as soon as he gave the dad the powers to heal him up, the arrows came and he died. Like, didn't even get a chance to give him the powers back. Don't even know if he had the knowledge to give him the powers back at that time. So that flew the dad into a rage, and that gave us this lovely scene behind me of him walking into the temple, going sick and blowing up the temple. And like I said, man, it gives you that understanding of why everything happened. It gives you that understanding of why the Wizards locked him away in the first place, because he wasn't the one the Wizards gave the power to. That's not the way the Wizards intended that power to be used. And from what we've seen with Dr. Sivana in the Shazam movie, they don't take really kindly to people using their power in a way they don't intend it to. So I do think it was a great way to loop that into it, how he got trapped by the rest of the Wizards, how you see him kill the Wizards in that dust cloud, and the only wizard left was the wizard that gave Shazam his powers and gave Billy the power to transform. And I like that little wrap up. The connections that this movie gave to the wider DCEU, they were small, but they were meaningful to me, because if you were a fan of the wider DCE universe, this is something that we've been missing, and this is something that we've been wanting for so long, is that connectivity, the promise that this is going to be a wider DCEU, and the promise that we're going to get a whole DCEU eventually. And from what we've seen right now, the possibilities just from this movie alone is endless. But yeah, man, now we get down to the end of it, man, where I get to tell you my overall likes and dislikes about this movie, man, and then I give you the overall score for me personally. These are all personal score. All of these scores are subjective. So, like, Don't take it personal. It's just what I think. Black Adam, guys, I think it was very exciting. My overall likes of it is Dwayne Johnson as the character of Black Adam. Just talking about Hawkman for a bit, I think he got a little bit annoying for me at one point, but I like the stern nature of his character, not taking no shit of his character, to keep getting back up of it all, of how he operated, and no matter like what The Rock was saying to him, he wasn't budging on his end either, even though he was getting his ass kicked at every turn. And I think that was getting me a little bit frustrated. Like, bro, come at this from another angle, since you keep going headstrong and keep getting your ass whooped. You feel what I'm saying? So that was the only thing that like kind of worried me about that character. But if you know Carter Hall and you know like the Thanagarians, they lead with their mates first. So it is what it is. Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan, come on, man. What can we say about him, man? Not comparing him to Doctor Strange at all, because these characters are completely different. Doctor Strange is a dick. Dr. Fate in this iteration is like a wise older man who was very happy to take people under his wing and try to show them the ropes and give them a little taste of the future. And I think his power set works a little bit different from Doctor Strange's power set. So anybody who's trying to like make that comparison, you're just making it straight up the fact of their name and like the crystalline thing. You feel what I'm saying? But it's magic. So like, what you gonna do? We talking about the young ones in the group. We talking about Cyclone and Atom Smasher. Both of them were good. I like the way how they played off of each other. They didn't have much to do in the movie, but they were great as the characters they were portraying. And if they were to be featured in future movies, I would be glad to see them in future movies. The overall wrap up of it, we get two endings basically. We get a wrap up of the movie itself and Black Adam's transformation, semi-transformation, and then after that wraps up, we get another backup of the main plot of the movie, the thing that kicks it off in the first place. He puts the crown on, he becomes Sabbac, Dr. Fate dies, Hawkman gets skewered. A lot of things happen here, a couple ramifications that's gonna lead forward. We don't know how yet, but we're just gonna see how it all shakes out, man. I really did enjoy it. I like this movie. I'll probably see it again. More than likely, I'm gonna see it again, probably a couple more times, because like I want to see it in IMAX. So like I might go back just to check it out in IMAX. But yeah, man, this movie to me is, like I said, man, this is not no Scorsese-esque cinema, but if you want a fun time at the theater, if you want to like laugh and jump out of your seat and like just cheer at like a superhero not holding back at all, but like doing it for the semi-right reasons, Black Adam is your guy, man. I had so much fun here, and I definitely hope everybody gets to go and see it and make an opinion of your own, because these critics are trash.
You're horrible. You're horrible. You're horrible. You're horrible.
Can you believe this had a lower critic score than Captain Marvel? Like, how? Just how? Like, I don't want to be the Marvel versus DC guy here. I don't want to be the conspiracy guy here, but like, this is literally better than a lot of movies in Phase 4. I definitely would watch this over a movie like Shang-Chi, over a movie like Black Widow, just to like name a few, over a movie like Thor Love and Thunder. I had way more fun in this than I did in Thor Love and Thunder, because what they did to Christian Bale and Gore, that hurt me in there. Not to mention like the tragedy of making Thor that idiotic. Totally to the side. I'm not even gonna get into that, because that's a whole nother thing. That's why I ain't do a review for that. That joint pissed me off. But for me, guys, I give this movie a smooth 7.5. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the greatest movie in the world. It should be a 7, but the 0.5 is just for that end credit scene. I'm not even gonna get into the end credit scene. Y'all know what happened. I'm excited. The boy is back. But yeah, guys, jump out in the comments and let me know what you think about this movie, man. Tell me what's your favorite part of the Black Adam, man. Who was your favorite character in Black Adam? What did you think Dwayne Johnson did with the character? And what do you think is coming next in the DCEU? But as always, guys, if you like what you see here, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps us way more than you know, and it helps us beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to be notified when we upload new videos, go ahead and click that little bell icon. Thank you. I thought I was going to say Shazam.